Hello everyone. Welcome into this webinar. We're just giving everybody some time to sign in before we start. Now, in a little bit, you'll also find a little poll that's going to come up in your screen, so feel free to fill that out, just so we can learn a bit more about you and your business. So yeah, just waiting for a few more people to join in. While we do that, you'll notice that there is a chat and a Q&A section. So feel free to use that to communicate with each other, to get in touch while we'll be doing the presentation. And yeah, just a few more moments before we start. All right, so almost there. Again, if you're going to be using the chat section, you'll notice that there's an option for you to address your text. I suggest setting that to everyone so we're all in the same picture regarding the conversation. No, of course, besides us and the speakers, we also have along with us members of our lovely support team. So they're going to be the ones getting back to you live while we'll be doing the presentation. So again, feel free to share any thoughts, any questions, and they'll get back to you live. And of course, as always, tomorrow you'll get a recording of this webinar. I see that some people are already asking about it. So yes, it's going to be a recording. You're going to get it into your inbox tomorrow. So yes. On that. All right, so almost there. Now sit comfortable, grab any water, coffee, or popcorn, whatever you need. We're going to start very, very soon. And yeah, just a few more moments for everybody to sign in. All right, so I think we're almost ready to do that. Let me move over to the next screen and present to you the speakers. So first off, my name is Elisa Tani. I'm a Learnwolves learning designer expert here. And together with our co-founders, Panos Iosos and George Palegiorgiou and Evangelos Sinzas, our product marketing manager, will walk you through the features and benefits of using ChatGPT and showcase how you can leverage prompt engineering to create courses that resonate with your learners. So here is our agenda and what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to understand what ChatGPT is and how it works. We're going to go through some very, very useful prompting hacks. We're going to see the framework of the course creation process and the 5 prompts of e-learning prompt engineering. So this is what we're going to be seeing today. And let me give the stage over to our CEO, Panos Iosos, to just offer a few more things on what we're going to see today and on ChatGPT and Learnwolves. So Panos.
Thank you, Elisa. Thanks for the intro. Super happy to be here with you today. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Panos Iosos. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO of Learnwolves. Learnwolves, for those of you who don't know it, is an e-learning platform for creating and sharing amazing e-learning experiences. As a business, we're on a mission to empower and future-proof knowledge-based businesses and professionals. So what we offer you is the tools to sell online courses, educate your customers, train your employees, package your content in attractive e-learning digital products, and sell or share those as far and wide as possible. So let's say a couple of things about ChatGPT, the elephant in the room, and why everybody is here. Today's presentation is not going to be theoretical or philosophical. We will not fill you with scientific explanations of how GPT works or why it works, or even if it works at all. We will not be discussing whether ChatGPT is intelligent or is dumb, whether it's thinking or not, whether it has emotions or not. We don't care so much about that. What we will see is how you will be able to use it today as a tool to improve your job. And believe me, this is something that you can start doing right away. So the main question on everybody's mind, we were just having the same discussion here with a couple of people from Learnwolves staff, is whether AI will replace us. Everybody is thinking more or less a bit about that. So to give you our short answer, after spending a lot of time reading and testing and seeing everything that is being created around, we can say with clarity that AI will not replace you, will not replace us. It's not here for us. But definitely somebody who is using AI or ChatGPT to do his job better or faster will replace you. So what we are here to do is to help to give you already not just the first reaction of ChatGPT, but very practical and actionable advice on how it works and how you can use it today to improve your work, to improve your output, to become more creative, if you like, to definitely become more efficient and more productive in your work, and how you can already extend and elevate your potential. So already we are seeing a huge boom of creativity with the help of ChatGPT. As you may have read already, there are thousands of books being published that have been created by ChatGPT or with the help of ChatGPT. All along the creative, in every creative industry, in every creative profession, people today are using ChatGPT to write more, to create better products, to create more products, to finish things that they haven't finished for ages, to complete tasks, and this is happening today. So what we are going to show you is how you can stay at the edge of that revolution. Already most leaders of computer science and of the industry are agreeing that what we are seeing here is a revolution at least as big and perhaps an order of magnitude bigger than what mobile devices did a few years before, or what computing did a few years before that. So what we want to make sure is that by following us and by following the tools that we will share and all this guidance, you will be able to stay to be at the top of your game and to leverage these tools today to become even more productive and more efficient in your work. So what is GPT? Actually, we asked GPT itself to give us its own answer. I think it's and as you can see here from the answer, it's probably much better than what I could have how I would have described it. So ChatGPT is a language model developed by OpenAI, which is a company whose purpose is to generate human-like responses to natural language prompts provided by users. So in the back end, ChatGPT is a huge model, is a huge mathematical function that has one purpose: to predict the next word in a text. But it has been fed with so many trillions of data, and it has more than 175 billion parameters. So the quantity of that data allows it to provide what seems to us like knowledgeable, intelligent answers. It's like having an assistant next to us who is helping us and answering to every one of our whims. So this language model, while not yet intelligent, while not yet a true artificial intelligence, for many of the jobs that we are doing every day, is so efficient that we can already start using it and start making our everyday lives much easier and much more productive. So, and here comes the actual content of today's presentation and the actual practical stuff that you can get away with after this webinar. How can we communicate with ChatGPT? What is the way for us to get meaningful answers and meaningful production of content out of ChatGPT? And here it comes the keyword that you will hear many times today, which is prompt. So prompt is an instruction that we give to an AI, or in this particular case to the ChatGPT, whether it's a message, a question, a statement, a request, a set of instructions, or any other input. This used to be just text. Now we can also give it images and other forms of prompts. So this these prompts is the stimuli that we give to ChatGPT in order to generate a response. And because at the end of the day, ChatGPT, at least still, is a dumb machine, we need to give it quite well-structured and intelligent questions in order to generate intelligent and useful answers for us. There is a term in the computing science, you may have heard it also elsewhere, garbage in, garbage out. So the better we are able to structure our questions, the more detailed we are in what we ask this ChatGPT to give us, the better responses we will get. So the same way that a programmer uses programming languages in order to generate the software and get the answers that they want, prompts are much more in a human-like, in human language, in fluent language, are the instructions that we will have to use to communicate with ChatGPT in order to get what we want. So with the prompts that we will give it, and this is precisely the framework and the examples that we'll show you today, we will see how we can control the direction of this conversation, how we can get meaningful answers, how we can get the quality of the output that we want, and even the style, even the sentiment, even the any kind of language that we want to do it. So if we are able to generate great prompts, then today we can get ChatGPT to respond to our needs, to multiply the capacity and the output of our work, and we can get it. We can get those answers right away, put to good use. So we have to. This is how we become the programmers and the masters of the machine. If we master this prompting language and these prompting habits and best practices that we will show you today, so we will become prompt engineers, and this is how we get this genie out of the bottle and we make it to work for us. Let's see a couple of examples. Let's go to the next slide. And here are the different components of a prompt. Some of these will be more verbose, bigger. Some of them will be smaller. This is where we have to experiment a lot, and this is what we have done. We have experimented so that we can give you some ready-made answers and starting points. And this is where we structure the actual prompts in order to get responses that are very accurate and we can easily fine-tune to use right away in our work. So one of the ChatGPT examples that we have run here today is something where we start by saying to the ChatGPT how we want it to respond. So we give it, we frame it, and we say that you are a course creator, so you will respond as a course creator. So already it starts to choose the way of the vocabulary and the kind of knowledge it has in its vast database, so that it can start generating these answers. We tell ChatGPT that we have identified your target audience, the target audience of ChatGPT, which consists of busy professionals who struggle to balance their work and personal lives. This further clarifies and sets the stage for how ChatGPT will respond and where it will start grasping for answers. So what are some best practices for designing an effective course on time management to help your students apply what they learned to their daily lives? So here, effectively, we set the parameters, we set the stage for which ChatGPT will go into its database and will start bringing all this vast knowledge and adapting it to the way we want this to be presented. So the better we structure, the better formulated our question is, the better answers we will get. Next slide, please. So here, what we will do right away is we will start presenting prompting hacks that we have explored for you that are especially selected for creating content that we can use right away as we structure our courses and as we design our interactions with our students.
All right, so I think I can take it from here, Panos.
Mm-hmm.
So right here, we have gathered up some hacks. We can see just how we can make the prompts more effective, right? So hack number one right here, we got role prompting. So right here, what you actually do is think of yourself as a director, right? Where you assign the actual tool a role, right? And they think of themselves as that role, and thus they're going to give you that result. So this is exactly what role prompting is. For instance, you can have ChatGPT think as an instructor, or maybe I don't know, a trainee or whatever role you give it. So this is hack number one. Let me take you to hack number two. Evangelos, if you want to take this over.
Yeah, sure. So another important prompting hack, or to better put it, a prompting rule, is to clarify the conversation's purpose and focus. So before creating your prompt, you should take time to determine what you hope to achieve. Clearly defining the conversation's purpose and focus can help you craft a more specific and engaging prompt, like, do you want to share information, answer a question, or chat casually?
And hack number three, you need to make sure that you're using precise, relevant language. Obviously, if you want results on a specific field, you don't want to be adding terms and languages that it will either not understand or it will not be concise with the outcome that you want. So stay precise and relevant on what you're asking.
For hack number four, while many ChatGPT users appreciate the creativity of open-ended questions that can generate unexpected answer structures, this may not be the case for professionals like you, for example, course instructors probably. So you should avoid overly broad or open-ended prompts. To maintain focus and steer the conversation in the intended direction with ChatGPT, it's crucial to use specific and well-defined prompts that provide enough guidance for ChatGPT.
And I think, as we can see in the screen, that in the previous slide, that the prompts are quite clear. We have with bold the variables that can be filled in so as to get exactly what we need. And as you can see, there are several variables here. So we are trying to say what are the key steps. This is what we want to learn for creating engaging and effective online course. So you are seeing that we are using adjectives. I will see also in a hack afterwards. So if you see the answer, you will see that it is quite complete, it's quite specific. And if you remove all of these elements and you create a simple, generic, abstract prompt, then the answer will not have all of these qualities that you have specified in the prompt.
Yep. And hack number five, I think this may be my favorite one, simplify complex concepts. There's so many times where there's something you don't understand, right? So that way you can input that text straight into ChatGPT and ask it to describe it to you as if you were 5 years old. So easy as that, just add that towards the end of your prompt and you're going to get a way simplified response on whatever you prompted and input it. So this is
also, if I'm not mistaken, Elisa, I think that ChatGPT has an experience in exactly that, in making analogy in thinking, since it creates some causing relationship between text, between words, so it can make easy analogies. And that's the power that we are exploiting right here. So you are asking ChatGPT to exploit this ability to create analogies, and you can explain everything. It's not just the text that we are giving them. We can ask them to explain something from its knowledge base for 5 years old. So that's a very powerful thing. We totally want to promote that prompt because it empowers us to give explanations that we didn't have in mind. And this for learning is crucial.
Absolutely.
So there are also some fun hacks, let's say, that you can break free from ChatGPT's dull and monotonous default tone and uncover a world of fascinating possibilities, such as mimicking the style of your favorite author. For example, as shown here, you can ask ChatGPT to adapt its reply to the rhythm of Shakespearean plays.
And as you understand, again, you can ask for a fun thing, you can ask for a serious thing, you can ask for a tone of a basketball player talking or whatever. So a huge variety of tone of voices for the text. That means also a huge variety of communication expressions for our learners. And this is what we need. Different, as you know, as designers, as instructional designers, We do have our stereotypes, we do have our tone of voice, but the students many times need something different. And ChatGPT is here to provide that in a very special way.
And also,
there is also,
sorry,
yes,
sorry, Lisa,
Panos.
if I may, the ChatGPT has been optimized for certain actions, including writing poetry, and also it can definitely analyze tone of voice. It has been optimized for that. It can generate different kinds of content, whether it's for specific audiences, for specific ages, talking as your favorite author, or as anything else. So it's amazing just to play with these things. I saw a question in the chat, an interesting question, whether we have developed this presentation with the use of PowerPoint. No, ChatGPT hasn't generated this PowerPoint, but all these prompts have been tested extensively in order to get to the final recipe that you can go in and test. And we would love to show you live these responses, but unfortunately it's late. So it's getting, the responses are not instantaneous, so it would be very, very tiring. This is why we have distilled the best hacks and the best practices, and all the recipes that we show here, all the hacks, you will find them in the ebook that we will share. More than 150 prompts that you will be able to just copy paste and adapt to your own audience, style, language, subject matter, and get the best kinds of results. And then from there, you can elaborate and you can improvise and you can get to your very own style. Sorry, Elizabeth,
Yes.
to you.
No worries. Panos is absolutely right. Unfortunately, there isn't enough time for us to do it live for you. But if you've seen the prompts all over here, this is essentially the input you need to go over to ChatGPT, add in, and then you'd get this result. We just made it like this for you, so it's easier time-wise. Now, hack number 5, and staying on the topic of fun, and this one I like as well. Right here, you can use fun to your advantage. For instance, you can have ChatGPT explain something in a style of a cowboy, right? And that's going to take that same language and the same vocabulary and all of that. So very fun, this one.
I think the second paragraph in the response is full of fun, where we are saying that we gather up a group of cows and that all have the same brand and so on. So the analogies there is very powerful and very effective to learners.
Exactly.
Another important tip is to use ChatGPT to help you develop a consistent tone of voice when writing your learning material. So you have to think it as a feedback conversation that by analyzing your writing, the tool can learn your unique style and help you avoid generic outputs. This way, you can improve the quality of your content, create compelling and effective writing that resonates with your audience, and engage your learners with a consistent tone of voice.
I think ChatGPT is well known for its ability to analyze texts. And it's not only about analyze texts of the others. You can also analyze your text so as to understand your style. And ChatGPT can have some memory and understand you and then continue the discussion and the conversation based on your tone of voice. And this is very important so as to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we know that one of the biggest problems of every course creator, of everybody who has ever created any kind of content, is writer's block. And in some cases, you have the knowledge, you put it on paper, it doesn't look good, and this is where GPT can help you expand this text, can help you, give you alternative ways to presenting, alternative ways of formulating, and also, as Evangelos mentioned, to have a text that will look consistent at the end, well polished. So it's just like having your own personal content editor that can go over your courses, improve, expand, and help you get unstuck when you need it sometimes.
Yep, and hack number 9, and George mentioned this earlier, make sure you use descriptive adjectives wherever possible. Now, right here, the prompt can become more specific and it can convey more information about the topic that you have at hand, so definitely make sure you're using more adjectives to describe that.
And since it is using words to understand things, so if you add more words and more adjectives close to the word that matters to you, that means that you are opening the network of words that can be used in order to decide the sentence that it's going to be created. So important to add these adjectives so as to help ChatGPT open the network of possibilities for you. And also, however, concurrently focus focus the result on the exact adjectives that you are looking for the specific topic.
So for 10, again, if you need to add bits and pieces of fun content, you can instruct ChatGPT to support you in telling a storytelling material for your learning content. You can create a storyteller to a specific part of your learning content and engage your audience. And you have to make sure to specify the tone of voice or style of the story you're looking for, and consider giving some examples of the types of stories you are looking. And also the kind of language you'd like to use. Another helpful tip is to include relevant details such as the setting, characters, and plot points you want ChatGPT to incorporate in this.
And let's remember that storytelling is probably the hottest trend in the learning industry right now. Everyone talks about how to create stories. Everyone talks about the fact that learners love stories. So with ChatGPT, you have the possibility to create stories for learning content by just specifying the abstract plot, the abstract protagonist, and then ChatGPT will do the job for you. And that is a fantastic experience for your learners. This is exactly what they need. This is exactly what they seek for.
Mm-hmm. Hack 11, you can have ChatGPT create a very easy Q&A for you. So let's say that you have a specific topic, but you're not entirely sure what are the most frequently asked questions, maybe, so you want to add a little Q&A, but you're not sure on the questions. So ChatGPT can do that exact thing for you, create it for you.
As you understand, again, this is, we always are trying to find ways to trigger learners' thinking. And question is the best way to trigger our learners to think. So by providing Q&As, for example, you are in a course, in an online course, and you have just finished a section, and you want to have a Q&A for this section. So you can tell to ChatGPT, this is my material, this is the context, this is what I've said to them. Please create a Q&A for my learners, my audience who are, for example, children 6 to 8 years old, so as to help them understand something. So a great, again, educational tool for us who we are creators of learning content, so as to trigger students' thinking, which is at the end the end goal of every instructor.
So let's talk about course summaries, which is an essential component of any online course, as it provides learners with a clear overview of the most important concepts covered in an online course. Generating a course summary can be relatively an easy or challenging task, but worry not, because you can use ChatGPT to help you generate yours. So simply add TLDR at the end of your prompt, which stands for too long didn't read, and ChatGPT will analyze your text to identify the main ideas, a key information to generate a short yet concise summary for you.
So you have to add some input text, and then you have to say, please summarize it. Or you can even summarize things that you don't have in your prompt, but you can select a topic for which you want a summary. I think the best, ChatGPT is best in text actions, in text manipulation actions. That's its main focus. So the results usually are impressive in terms of how good it can summarize things.
And also how consistent it is, and imagine the time saving here. So we're not saying to, let's say, if two people ask ChatGPT the same prompt, they will get the same 2 answers. But if you feed it with your own text, which has already your own signature, your own stamp, your own creativity, then you will get your very own unique summary of that text. And while we may be, let's say, at our very best day, we might be writing something that is much better than ChatGPT, we cannot be doing that 8 hours a day that will be required to get a full course. So also you can imagine here things like a summary or like getting a Q&A, how they can help you to quickly, finish that course that is bugging you and you haven't been able to do it. And obviously any output you get, you can again manipulate it yourself. You can adjust it, and you can get the final output that you are happy to present in front of your students.
These are exactly the elements that we are trying also to incorporate in our Learnwolves platform. So, you are creating a course, again, you have a section, you have created 5 ebooks there about how to learn something. Then you are in a point where you want to create a learning unit, a learning activity, which includes a summary. So, should you write it? Should you go to ChatGPT and write it? Or should you do it inside Learnwolves? These are the things, these are the affordances that we will serve you very soon, as Panos will say to you later.
All right, let me move over to the next hack where you need to ask GPT to respond in a specific instructional design model, right? For instance, ADDIE or Bloom's taxonomy, and that's exactly what it's going to do, and you can see it over here from the response as well.
So, one of the most difficult things are how we can enhance our learning with instructional design models. And although most of the instructional designers have learned and have studied about all these models, Merrill's models, Bloom's taxonomy or whatever, to apply it each and every time is very exhausting. So now you can ask ChatGPT to create, for example, the learning objectives of your course based on Bloom's taxonomy. And you will see a table that presents all the 6 levels of Bloom's taxonomy. And for each row, you will have the learning objectives for the level of understanding, the level of analyzing, and so on. So ChatGPT comes here as an instructional consultant who is trying to help us apply instructional design theory in our daily tasks of creating content. I think this is the opportunity, the biggest opportunity for people that haven't studied learning theories to learn about them by applying this model. You just need the list of the theories. You just need to test them and try to see the results and how are being applied, which improvements are giving to the learning paths that you are creating. I think this is probably one of the biggest values that can bring to learning and to instruction.
So, for another hack, you can use ChatGPT to translate any piece of information you need. To ensure the best results, you have to provide ChatGPT with specific details such as the target audience, the intended audience, and any other relevant limitations or considerations. But it's important to keep in mind that while ChatGPT translation ability is impressive, it may not always be as precise as a specialized translation tool or a professional translator. Still, ChatGPT can be an incredibly useful resource for various aspects of your online course creation. As in the example, you may want to translate a paragraph from English to Spanish for a beginner-level audience.
And I think the important thing here, Vangeli, is that it's not a translator, it is a transformator. So it doesn't just translate the text, but it also adjusts it to the audience, to the circumstance, to the specific learning objective. So you are taking a text from your language and you are creating a different text for a specific audience in another language. And this is something that no translation tool can do. This is a transformative character, let's say, to playing with languages and with your content.
It understands and translates the context of the text.
Exactly.
Crazy. So hack 15, right here, you need to focus on saying what you need instead of saying what you do not need, right? Because the outcome directly comes from your input, right? So you need your input to be related to what you want to get. So make sure you focus on what you want to include instead of what you do not want included in the results.
So the next one is a bit of a technical one. You have to use both the instructions and context components within a prompt and place the instructions at the beginning of the prompt with a clear separation from the context using hash or quote symbols. This helps ChatGPT to generate better responses as you give clear guidance and context for ChatGPT to follow.
So this is exactly what we will try to do also in our framework. ChatGPT tries to understand and extract anything from a prompt in natural language. However, as a machine, if you clear out exactly what you want and what you are giving as an input, then it will do the work in a better way.
Hack 17, instruct ChatGPT to act as a critic. So right here, you can have ChatGPT think critically, and you can ask it to evaluate or criticize even its own output from here.
But of course, it can also put questions to other texts and other input that you are going to give your input, your texts. So it's a nice thing that, you know, as a developers, I guess, as content developers, we always want this second view on our content. We always want someone to critique what we are writing and whether this is right or whether we should expand or whether we should use other examples. So if you ask ChatGPT to examine your text based on some filters, based on some specific, with some specific goals, then you can have this critique that can help you enhance your initial text. That's, again, what Panos said in the beginning. It's next to you. If you have it next to you and you use it, you ask it, then it can make you better content developer.
Yeah.
So the next one is one of our favorite fun hacks, asking ChatGPT to use emojis in its responses. We've all been there trying to emphasize certain points and create engaging ways to capture learners' attention and create a more engaging and enjoyable learning experience. In the example that you see, we utilized the role prompting technique to make ChatGPT act as a coach that wrote learning objectives about a course for time management, but we specifically asked it to use emojis while doing it.
So who doesn't want to see a text full of emojis? I'm not sure about the learning efficiency of this text. However, the fun and let's say the kickoff that you can give to a course by creating something like that is amazing. And this is what we always need, and we don't have time to spend so as to create things like that.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT never tires. It might not have humor, but it has read billions of lines of text that include the actual context of using these emojis, and it brings you the best ready without you having to do anything more.
All right, let's move over to the next one. So hack 19, let ChatGPT guide you with the questions you need to add. So you're looking for something specific, but you're not entirely sure what to ask to get that result, right? Well, worry no more. You can actually straight up ask ChatGPT what you need from me. What type of information do you need from me for this specific topic? And it's going to guide you through with the answers that with the questions that it needs answered from you. So that's what it can do from here.
And it is excellent the fact that you are having, let's say, interactive. So until now, we are just talking about the first prompt, but ChatGPT is not about the first prompt, it's about the dialogue. And these kind of hacks help you build the dialogue. So I asked ChatGPT to help you on how to format your prompts. So in this case, we are asking it, please ask me any question you like before you begin writing the email. And if you see the text on the answer of ChatGPT in the second column, it is asking some important things. It tries to understand the context. It tries to understand the goal, which weren't set in the initial prompt. So by answering this question and by having in mind the first prompt, ChatGPT will combine everything and will bring you a better answer that will fit your needs.
Let's get to hack 20. So making sure that ChatGPT understands your prompt well enough is key to getting the most out of the language model. But how can you ensure that your prompt is good and that ChatGPT has grasped the task that you want it to do? One genius way is, before asking ChatGPT to respond to your prompt, is to simply ask it to break down the prompt into task definitions. This helps you to check whether ChatGPT has understood your prompt and to identify areas that might need clarification or improvement.
This is a very nice example, Vangeli, this one, because you are seeing a prompt which is quite heavy, it's quite big, and you would be ready to click enter and say, let's see the result. But you can do another thing. You can say, break down the prompt into task definitions. And you are going to see, as we are seeing in the answer, which are the tasks that ChatGPT understood that it has to do. So before getting the answer and start the dialogue, you can be sure whether you have asked the right things. So again, this is a way to improve your prompting and also to be sure about what you ask the ChatGPT or what ChatGPT understood from you and your prompts. Especially when you have big prompts, these are good ideas before going forward to the next question and to the content development.
Hack 21, ask ChatGPT to format its output. Now, like we said, typically the output is a text, but you can also change this. And as you can see in this example, we are getting a table instead of just a simple text as an output. So you get to decide that as well.
And you can not only just can get a table. You can also get a JSON. You can also get bullet lists. You can also get markup language. You can also get some code. So if you ask him, bring me some code so as to do something, it will bring you code. If you ask him to have HTML, it will bring you HTML. If you want to have this table and add a column to this table later, or to continue formatting the output of this prompt, you can do that. So if we were in real conditions now, we could ask them to add a column with some specific info about each row. So that's very important, because we always have to think what the kind of format that we want to get. So if you are in Learnwolves school, for example, and you are trying to add something to a page, to a landing page, or to an assessment, a question in an assessment, then you have to think, what's the right format for me? So specify that in the prompt, and you will get it in the right format so as to copy and paste it inside your school. As always, we are strongly suggesting to edit the text, to read the text. Do not use the answers of ChatGPT as is. Edit, understand, enhance, and then move the results into your courses, into your learning content.
So for ChatGPT, computer code is just another language, as is human language. So it can give you your output in HTML, and even if you're trying to do something like a little customization in your Learnwolves platform or anything else, you can probably get some pretty great little code snippets and use them in your code as well.
So, an important aspect and rule of thumb when talking to ChatGPT is that it's best to focus on the topic you want to discuss. Sticking to the main topic will help you keep the conversation on track and receive useful and appropriate information from the system. Keep in mind that sometimes you may need to refine your prompts multiple times, especially for complex requests, and this approach can lead to better outcomes in the long run. But always, you have to create a new chat if you want to discuss something else.
And the next, and this is the final hack of the day, you can instruct ChatGPT to remove any personalization. And this is very, very useful, because sometimes you may want to use actual data that you have as an example, right? But of course, you have to omit some sensitive data. So this is exactly what that can do. But again, as George mentioned, you must always proofread the output, because it may sometimes not pick everything up. I think in this example, you'll see that still, for instance, the phone and the email didn't get picked up, but as you can see, the name was hidden. It's not John, it's name, and so on. So yes, use this, but of course, always with caution, and make sure you proofread the result.
And I think here again, we have some text action, some text transformation, where ChatGPT is best at. So I think whenever we want to do something in our text, let's ask ourselves, can ChatGPT help me in that? So based on all of that, on all these hacks, we have created a framework for the course creation process. And this framework just tries to create a summary of all of that. So and we have created also an ebook that we are going to share with you. All the presentation has been based on this ebook, but also in this ebook, we have the framework that I will present to you in a very concise manner, and also hundreds of prompts for you. So let's continue, Elisa. Let's go to the framework. So this step-by-step framework is how should we think when we are creating a prompt. And we have created 9 steps, which have been repeated several times in the previous slides. The first thing to do is to define the expertise and the role. Let's say to ChatGPT who we are and what we are trying to do. The second thing is to specify your audience. So let ChatGPT know who is your audience. When we're talking about audience in learning, we are talking about our students. We are talking about our customers. We are talking about the ones that want to learn. Who are they? Which are the characteristics? How can I create some input for ChatGPT so as to adjust to the specific set of learners? The third thing is we have to define the task at hand. And don't forget, you don't need to just create one task. You can create several tasks. So you can say, please create, do we have a problem with the presentation, Elisa?
No, I think it's back, just a small internet spike. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes. So in terms of the task, you can have several tasks here. You can create in one prompt and say, can you please give me the course outline of this subject matter together with learning objective and an explanation for each module. So it's not one task. Think of the task that you want to have so as to the answer to be to combine all the things that you want. The fourth thing that you have to do is to think whether there is a learning method, an instructional approach that can help you. So as we've said, are you defining learning objectives? Ask ChatGPT to do that using the Bloom's taxonomy. That's a great idea. You will see that the results are going to be impressive and you will be keen to learn more about Bloom's taxonomy. The fourth thing in the same prompt, so right now we are talking about the fifth thing in the same prompt that you can add, obviously optionally. It's not that we have to add every and each element of that to every and each prompt that we are creating. But this is, let's say, an approach that we have to have in our minds when we are creating prompts. The fifth thing is to enhance the context. What else can we share for ChatGPT for what we are doing right now? What is the variables, the environment, the topics or related things or examples that may be helpful for ChatGPT in order to create your content? The sixth thing is to provide additional input data. For example, if you have a text and you want to transform it, you have to add it into your prompt. The seventh thing is to define the tone of voice and the style of voice. So, for example, you will see, and it's very, I suggest you to do that. Ask ChatGPT to create a course outline with the tone of voice of Steve Jobs. That you will see something different. You will see some big words there, some quite challenging, let's say, sentences, which probably wouldn't be the first thing for you to do. The eighth thing is to define the output format, as we've said, table, JSON, markup, or whatever. And the ninth thing is to ask ChatGPT, did you understand what I just told you? Can you break these, which are the tasks that you identified from my prompt? So the last thing in this list is to decide whether you want ChatGPT to elaborate on what it understood from the prompt or not. So these 9 things are a great framework for you to think every time that you are creating a prompt. Probably they seem a lot, but they are not. Since January, we are creating prompts every day, both for the product that we are developing right now in Learnwolves, the AI component that we are going to introduce, and for this ebook that we are writing. Now we are thinking with these 9 things always in mind. You will see at least 10 people in Learnwolves that are writing exactly with this framework in mind prompts every day. So that's a great framework to have, and we hope that with the book that we will share with you, will help you think with this framework in mind. So I think, Pano, no, I think we have five final prompts. So what does that mean for a course academy? Because Learnwolves is about create online schools. We've said that you have 5 essential prompts. The first prompt is, which are the courses that I'm going to add into the academy? So let's see an example. Act as a music school teacher, which is the context, the role, who wants to create a series of online courses for the audience, which is 3rd grade students, 7 to 8 years old, so as to introduce them to the world of using, familiarizing them with the types of musical instruments, and help them decide on the instruments they will learn going forward. So we are explaining the goal of this online school. And we are saying, generate a potential list of courses with a related learning objective. So as I told you before, two tasks here. We want the courses, but we also want the learning objectives for each course. You can see in your in the answer in the right column that it produces a whole list of courses. So if you have some concerns, if you have some concerns about how should I start my online school, it's very easy to ask ChatGPT to provide you a list of courses for your domain. And of course, you can do a dialogue. You can build a dialogue here. You can ask, can you make these courses more elaborated? Can you make these courses more difficult? Can you also include another musical instrument in this series of courses and so on? So the first question when you're creating an online school is, which are the courses that I am going to create? So ChatGPT can give you an answer. The second question is, how can I create a course outline? So we have the courses. Now we have to create each course separately. So the second question, and we have an example here, a prompt based on our framework, it says, act as a senior JavaScript engineer and instructor of scripting languages. This is the role. Your audience consists of JavaScript enthusiasts who want to wrap their head around JavaScript principles and hard concepts. Your goal is to craft your next mini course on that topic. Create a solid course outline which includes what this topic is. Write in a fun and engaging way the outline, and the output should be broken down in modules. See the module on the right. We have the full outline with learning objectives, with everything there in place, and we can have a huge efficiency when starting to create a course. So, you are starting to create a course, you may spend hours in order to, let's say, have the first outline out there. So it's a great thing that you can have a kickoff there. This is not probably what you are going to do. This is why we are saying AI, it's not going to replace you, but it is going to help you, because you do have something to work on. You do have a fast draft, a fast prototype. And this then becomes a matter of your expertise and your experience, so as to build on top of that. So we created the series of courses. We created the course, and now what do we have to create? Let's create a video. As you know, online courses usually consist of video, ebooks, and assessments. So how can I create a video script? Act as an experienced data scientist, again the role. Generate a video script and two different examples. You are seeing now that I'm asking two different examples because I'm not sure. I want different perspectives on that. So as to select one. Two different examples of video structures for introducing experienced programmers interested in data security to the harvest now, encrypt later theory. See that I'm saying use Steve Jobs' writing style. So if you see the answer, you will see that the script starts, we live in a world where data is king. So it starts with a big phrase. This is exactly how Steve Jobs was talking. So again, we created the series of courses, we created the course outline, and we start building the learning unit of the course. So with some prompts like that, you can create 5, 10, 20 video scripts for your course. So let's go to see how we can create some texts for our courses. So how can I create ebooks for my courses? Act like again, role product marketing instructor. For whom? For experienced product marketing managers. Write a short intro text, that's the first paragraph on the course, the first learning activity of the course, about product market fit, again with Steve Jobs' writing style. Start by setting up the learning objective. So I am asking two things here again. Create an intro, but also include the learning objectives. You can see the answer on the right. Again, The writing style influences the result. Again, the fact that I've set up the role and I set the audience influences, again, the result. So the last thing, let's create some questions. How difficult it is to create an assessment in ChatGPT? So I created the courses, I created the videos, I created a book, and I want an assessment questionnaire at the end of each section for my courses. It's simple as that. Act as a business coach, help me create 3 multiple choice and 3 true-false questions so as to test novice managers' application of smart theory on their day-to-day tasks. I want the tone of voice to be playful. Explain the reasoning behind each question generated. So as you can see in the results here, ChatGPT creates all the multiple choice questions. It sets it defines which is the right one, and also gives me a great feedback text. So if I was in Learnwolves, I would create 3 multiple choice questions. I would copy the description, the options, and then I will get the explanation so as to make it a feedback if you do not answer, or if you answer the right one or the wrong one, where this is depending on how you work with feedbacks in assessments. So the big question here is, since you are able to create a series of courses, to create the outlines for the courses and all the learning material, how difficult it is to create an online academy. We believe that we are going to have a boom in create an academy in schools, in online schools in the next months. Why is that? Because you don't have this pain anymore. You can have a big help, an employee in your company that will help you define the framework, define the contents, and you can put in your expertise, your experience there, and make it and improve it a lot. So we are seeing more panels. I think we have discussed it many times now, and we are already start seeing that more and more people want to create an online school, because now it's not a problem to create the content. It's one of the 2 biggest problems: how to create the content and how to promote the content. In this presentation, we didn't deal with the promotion of the content, but as you can understand, ChatGPT can help you also on that, to create ads, to create images, to create copies, to create your pages. So by having these 2 things set up already for you, then it is just a matter of decision for you to start your online school.
So let's go to the next slide, if you please, Elisa. First of all, a couple of housekeeping points. As you understand, we are recording this session, and yes, we will share the recording with you. We will also we'll also send you the chat, because there are some great tips there, some great links, and lots of opportunities for connections. Make sure also to follow us on our social media, because we will keep sharing stuff about that. And the important output out of this presentation, also we will get the presentation, but the first important deliverable that comes from us is a full ebook that includes all this that we presented here and much, much more. So along with the framework, we will deliver more than 150 prompts where you will discover, we explain through our own tests, the science and art, if you like, of writing effective prompts that can help you with generating your course topics, building your course outlines, getting an expert instructional designer by your side to help you fine-tune the content and the teaching approach and style of your course. Obviously, having creative copy, having scripts ready-made or edited or adapted or enhanced, getting ready-made assignments, getting quizzes, getting summaries, getting all this stuff very, very easily. So you will have all these prompts and many, many more. So actually now there is virtually no excuse why not to start the online course you always wanted to do, or why not to finish it. It's just like having not just even if you are a one person team, you have a team now. You have a content writer, an instructional designer by your side. You have somebody who can edit your text, who can prepare your video scripts, who can summarize, who can get all your answers ready. So let's go a bit to the next slide, Elisa, to show some of the things that you will find within the book. Hopefully, we'll have the book by the end of the week or very early in the next week, we are still adding some of the prompts and clarifying some of the prompts, and we will share it with you. So how we can brainstorm course topics with the help of ChatGPT. Next slide. Curriculum design, help me choose the right content for the right courses, for the right audience, or adapt this, have my instructional objectives, course outlines, and all the rest of the content that we have seen. So this will come to you very, very soon, and you will be able to test it right away. I've also seen many questions about how this will fit with the Learnwolves strategy. As you can imagine, there is now a storm, a ChatGPT storm across the entire e-learning industry, but also every creative industry. And as with any storm, there's always lots of hype and lots of very, very superficial approaches where people just throw the GPT keyword around and hope that something of it will stick. Here, we are usually taking the hard way of deeply testing stuff, trying to find the actual real value for our customers, and having a clear approach on how to bring you what you need. And this is the very first step. Doing this webinar, preparing all these prompts that are specifically tailored and tested for course creators and content creators. This is the very first step. We're already working on other steps, as we mentioned also about the second pillar of how you can use ChatGPT, not just as your instructional design assistant, but also as your marketing assistant. And hopefully within the next couple of months until May, you will be able to see real cases of ChatGPT as an AI co-pilot that will run within your Learnwolves school, and it will help you do many of these extra tasks. ChatGPT is out there. So as we mentioned, you will not be replaced by ChatGPT, but other course creators have already started using this tool. So the bar is being set quite high. We're giving you already the first line of defense, if you like, where you can just go out and start testing these things and start importing this into your everyday work, into your everyday productivity, and start getting better outcomes. And all these co-pilots will soon be found next to your Learnwolves experience, not to replace you, but to enhance you, to give you the superpowers of ChatGPT and its trillions of parameters next to you, so you can start improving the work and the output of your effort.
Just to give an example, Pano, now you do know that Learnwolves has a very specific characteristic. It has the best authoring tools out there in terms of content creation. We have the best site builder, we have the best assessment builder, we are going to have the best ebook builder at the end of April, and we are investing a lot in content creation. And we are in the place where we can build and add AI in the best way possible. So I will give you only 2 hints, because this is something that it's a product that we are working, and we are not going to reveal more about that. For example, you are seeing the hero zone of your landing page, and you have there your tagline. So how difficult should it be to ask to create a better tagline for your school, and not to ask, with a generic prompt, but by giving all the context. Learnwolves is taking over that, giving all the context of your school, your courses, your learning objectives, everything to ChatGPT, so as to create a better tagline for you. Again, as you've seen, we already have a working prototype for months for the assessment builder. So you will let's create some questions there, and you will get a full-fledged assessment by using, however, the power of Learnwolves, which has 20 types of questions where you can set up feedback, scores, and several things that you can't do with other tools in the market. So I think you are going to be amazed with what will start coming from May on, and your efficiency will skyrocket in a matter of days.
So this is a new metacognitive skill that we all have to understand. Prompts. This is going to be the way to work going forward. So this is our challenge, but also this is our opportunity to use the tools at our disposal to do the best possible job that we can do and have the best possible effort. We will continue working on that. This is a very big project for Learnwolves, and we will continue also discussing, talking about other relevant issues that we know are at your minds, whether it's about plagiarism and how this would affect teaching, whether it's about copyright and what does how can we protect this the output of this work. There are many questions, and believe me, all the experts in the creative industries and the computer science industries are thinking about the ethics and the practice and everything that comes with this thing. It's here to stay. We are here to help you. The platform will soon include encapsulate all this assistance to you. So stay with us, and let's start creating the best possible courses that we can do. We don't have time for a Q&A, unfortunately, because I think we're already going past the time. We have already covered some of the things that you asked about the framework, about the ebook that we will share, and our offer. This is something that many people asked for, because we are at the end of a month, and there's a running offer right now on our website. So if you have already started using Learnwolves via trial, or if you are feeling empowered and past this writer's block, and you're willing and ready to start using the ebook and using the prompts to creating your first or your best online course, head over to our website, start a free trial, and there you will find and also a great offer to help you make that jump and really take your courses out there. Thanks everybody for attending. Thanks Elisa. Thanks Evangelos for this amazing presentation. Thanks George. Thanks everyone.
Thanks guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks everyone. Bye bye.